Hello everybody and welcome to the second Tekkit Toolbox LB or Let's Build. I know I promised that we'd get Bunsen in the next one, but unfortunately he's moving house, so he won't be around to do videos, which is why we've missed a video this week already. So what I'm basically building here is I'm building an automatic wheat harvester and planter. So the idea is that it will harvest the wheat using breakers and then plant new seeds using deployers. So what I'm doing there is I'm just painting the tubes so that they can accept seeds. I'm a little bit bothered as to why they're connecting there, and later on, possibly between recordings, I just plop in a couple of covers just to disconnect them, but it shouldn't really be connected like that. The reason for the different colours, even though they'll all get the same thing, is that hopefully the sorter will send things through one at a time. So currently I'm just cannibalising that sorter from the quarry. You'll probably notice, if you're a bit eagle-eyed, the battery system that I've got set up as I just walk past it there, that goes to a bunch of MFSUs on the next floor up. Had to pay someone a lot of money to set that up for me, but it's basically so that I can well, Minecraft money. It's basically so I don't have to hang around waiting for things to charge and keep running back and forth, and it's going to annoy you, it's going to annoy me. So right now I'm looking for my screwdriver. There we go. So with my screwdriver, oh, as you can see, Bunce has changed the layout in the foyer again. I'm feeling better now about that. That sorter is going to be, as I said, sending the seed to the appropriate deployers. So now I think I'm after chests. Yeah, there we go. So I want a chest. Really should have prepared. I thought I'd prepared, forgot most things. So you'll probably see me do this a lot over the course of this episode. I'm going to split this into two episodes because most of it is building. Most of it's programming. So the first half you're going to see is building, and then the second half will be programming. Didn't want to put it all in one because it ends up being something like 50-55 minutes long, and it's going to be pretty boring for you. So I mean, I could squish it down more, but it'd be incredibly fast and just, you wouldn't understand what the hell was going on. So, getting a new chest, because I need something to store the wheat once it's been harvested. There you go. So then in a second I'm going to realise that that's too low. In fact, actually, I think now, thinking about it, it's not too low. I could have got around the problem. But I'm putting some covers down there, because sort of thinking that I don't want anything to accidentally stick to that bit. Now the idea behind this is I could have just covered the top half of the ceiling with lots of frame motors and done it like that, but that'd been very expensive. So the sort of solution I came up with was a frame motor frame that moves with a smaller number of frame motors on the roof, which then moves the machine itself. You'll sort of understand that as I'm going. So here we are, I'm putting down the frame motors now. There we go. So what these will do is these will be connected to a frame themselves, and then that frame okay, I put that in the wrong place, but that frame will then see, I do know how to use hover mode. That frame will then move itself along. So basically there's going to be two sort of independent frame systems going on here. So just plop down some covers on these things. Okay, here we go. Bunch more covers. So just make sure the arrows are pointing the right way. A nice little trick with the frame motors is on the side it's got that sort of weird clock thing. If that weird, the sort of pointy bit on the clock thing, the hand on the clock, if that's facing the opposite direction that you want to move the frames in, that means it's facing the right direction. So the arrow points in the opposite direction as the weird sort of clock arm thing. So I'm making it 4 long so that I don't need that many frames to actually work with it, if you understand me. So now I can make frames 4 apart, frame motors 4 apart. So this is the first frame motor I'm putting in, facing the wrong way. There we go. So Now I'm going to count along and probably put all the rest in. So there's a lot of frame motors. I mean, there is a slightly more efficient system I could have done. I basically could have done the whole free floating thing once more, so I'd end up with 3 free floating parts to this machine. But the more you do that, the more complex the program will be, and I really didn't want to have to do that. So this is maybe the best of both worlds. Eat some bread before I starve. The only thing to bear in mind with this is it will only do one side. I could either elongate that machine and make it do both sides at the same time, or make another version on the other side. What I'll probably end up doing is elongating the machine, because I don't want to have to make another version of this. Okay, now I'm just grabbing some blue trusty from this wire, which is just weirdly sort of left there by bunts. Although little do I know that that wire is not even connected to anything, so I'll spend a little bit of time figuring that out any second now. I don't know, what the hell am I doing? Okay, so oh yeah, there we go. I'm checking to see if that's plugged in. It's not been fixed yet. None of the lights are on the frame motors. What's going on? So I'll go up here and check. And no, the wire stops there. Brilliant. Oops, water. Oh, what a fun project this is. Managed to leave cheat mode on NEI, which is a pain. I don't tend to cheat when we're playing, but it's very helpful to have on so that you can change the weather and to kill all the bad guys and stuff. It's a massive pain, and sometimes you want to be able to delete items as well. Okay, so now I'm trying. Now I quite frankly don't care about his horrible foyer, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to get power from. Bearing in mind I only have about 32 cables. Now I'm trying to figure out if this cable's powered. I don't think it is, so I check, put down an empty wire, which I know isn't powered, and it's the same colour. When it is powered, the blue in the wire lights up a bit brighter, you see. So I'm just finding out where the cable lives. There it is. So, okay, so now I'm checking where on the minimap it should be. Oh, coordinates, and it should be there. Okay, so there we go. Let's get some wire to go over there. Perfect. So I've been starting in the wrong place, but you know, I'm sure you can forgive me that. Okay, so I'll get the powered wire. Send it over to the farm. For now, this will have to do, but I will clean this up in the future. I'm just making 100% sure that it's powered because I'm not totally convinced. It seems to be all hooked in, it's receiving power from the battery, so awesome, so we're sorted. So off we go, fuck that window, and just making sure that power's coming through. It's not, but I'm sure power must be. I plunk a battery down, and yet power's coming through, so it must be working. It's just taking a little while, because frame motors do take a long time to absorb all the power they need. I'm sure I have a meter, a power meter, a volt meter, whatever it's called, in my inventory, so I don't know why I'm not using that. Oh, here we go. So I decided to place batteries down in order to make sure that if the power flow does stop up there, I'll have some spare down here ready to actually move the machines. That'll probably get moved in the future as well, but for now it's quite happy where it is. Okay, so that's all hooked in and slowly charging. Actually, it's charging quite fast, which is good. Okay, so now the bundle cable that I'm putting down there is going to hook up into each of the frame motors, and it's going to control the frame motors and tell them what to do in terms of moving the intermediary platform left and right. The intermediary platform is what I'm calling the second free floating piece that controls the harvester itself. So wires are put down there. White is to move the machine to the right as you look to it, and left is controlled by the black wire. So now I'm sort of figuring out how I'm going to get charged to the frame motors on this intermediary piece. Thinking maybe I'll put battery in at some point. There you go. So that's sort of what I've done there is I've pulled the power in from the other frames, but it's not really enough. I've stalled that transposer. I'm going to use that transposer. I don't do this in the video, but I'm putting it there so I don't forget. The idea is that the transposer is going to be hooked up to a system that's going to pull out all the wheat from the collecting chest. For now though, I'm currently plopping down a battery box that's going to charge or keep a charge ready for use in the intermediary frame motors. The idea being that this thing's going to be moving back and forth a fair amount. It's going to be using up a fair amount of juice, so we don't want it to run out halfway through because that would be pretty catastrophic. Currently, I think I'm wrestling now with trying to get power to the sorter because I seem to have not even realised that I don't need the sorter to move with the machine just yet, because all that can just sort of sit still at that particular point, which will make things a lot easier, but, well, you know, the folly of youth. So right now, my jetpack is just running out of batteries, so I'm going to stick that on charge real quick. Well, it's charging so fast it's not even using up any power. That's how much, that's how expensive that machine was for me. So I'll put the transposer there. There you go. And make a face the right way. I'm not going to do anything with that, I don't imagine. I don't think I do anything with this in this recording. The idea being that I want to remember to do it, but it's a system all in itself. Currently making the frame motors face the right way, which is always a good idea. Generally you want the arrows facing each other on frame motors when they're next to each other like that, because that makes sure that you're not wasting any space at all and your frame is as small as it needs to be. So right now I'm going to hook up the bundle cable in such a way that I can test it. So let's mess up some more of Bunce's horrible windows, as I love to do. And black and white wire, my redstone torch, and so black, and there it goes left. And we do white, it goes back left. Perfect. And that'll work for every single frame motor on there because it's no real problem. So at the moment I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to be getting the triggering cable, sorry, the power cables that's going to trigger these frame motors. At the moment I'm sort of playing with a couple of ideas using jacketed cable, but the problem is getting the appropriate signal through. And right now I can't see a good way to do that. The solution I come up with isn't perfectly elegant because I need to do a bit more damage to the farm, which isn't really ideal. But frankly, he had it coming, so and he's lucky I'm doing this mission for him all. Okay, I'm still sort of playing with where the cable's going to come in. I'm sort of panicking because I'm thinking there may not be any way for the cable to get put in there. There's a chicken. But where there's a will, there is a way, and I'm sure you will be able to find a much better way for me to have done this than how I actually do. Still worrying about it. Something I will point out is that power cable that I've got going in on the right hand side on the intermediary frame probably isn't the best placement, and I do change that in the end to go on the end piece instead of the side piece, as you can see there. But for now, here we go. So I've actually realised now, so the only way to do it is to break these windows. I'd like to say I'm sad that I have to do that, but I'm not at all. Perfectly happy to break Will's windows. And away we go. Break some windows, place down some platforms. Actually, in this case, panels. Look, I even had the good graces to try and make it the right type of stone to match his decor. Not really much to talk about. I'm doing panels. It's taking a while. And this is sped up as well. Imagine how long it actually took me. There we go. So that's about what we need. So I'm going to go back now and yeah, I'm going to sort of play around with the concept of wires. I'm still not 100% on how I'm going to have to do this. I'm sort of really hoping I don't have to dig into the next door's farm a little bit, because that's going to be a massive, massive pain. But as far as I remember, I do have to. I've managed to confuse myself as to how bundled jacketed cable work. I sort of think that it should connect to regular cable colours, but it certainly doesn't, and I don't know why I think it does. And this bloody glass won't break. There we go. But yeah, so I'd play around with that for a few more minutes, just like like a child who doesn't understand why his toy doesn't work. No, not working. Stop trying. I'll try a different colour then. Okay. No, that colour doesn't work too, but they're the same colour. Nope, go think of something else, you idiot. And I do! As a shortcut when I tried it, whilst I tried it for 40 more bloody minutes. So this is me realising that I'm going to have to make a regular bundle cable go alongside this, which is why I'm cutting up the wall. I sort of figured that a panel or covers could cover up the damage I've done, so it'd be perfectly fine. If he complains, you can just knock off. So, putting the green down first. I have to have the colours switch between each other, so red, green, red, green, red, green. The idea being that each signal, what it'll do, depending on where the intermediary platform is, can be different. It can be totally different. So it can either go left or right, which, you know, we would like to have control of over what we're going to be doing at any one time. So being able, having to have them as separate colours is the only real way I could imagine being able to control what direction it goes in. But you see, you have to trigger them specifically or generally, depending on which direction you're trying to go on, and it's a real pain. So it may be a bit wasteful to trigger that much power in one go, but I think it's the only way to do it. I mean, feel free to point out if I've done it wrong. But need some more bundle cable, so I went back up to the sorting machine, or at least what's left of it. There we go. And now I want to get that bundle cable over to the other bundle cable, so I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. There we go. So now all those bundle cables are connected together, which means that all the signals coming together. There we go, and now I've put the cable in the right place. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what I do. Yeah, I think it's time for testing, isn't it? So, yeah, here we go. So, block a couple of blocks down, some red, some greens, some... I'm checking to see which one I'm supposed to be using. In this case it should be red, but it's not moving. Now I think the reason it's not moving is because it's stuck to something down at the bottom, although I'm not entirely sure at this moment. Perhaps it's something it's stuck to. All I do remember is that it suddenly just starts working, and I don't really quite understand why. Which is usually usually how frame motors work. So that's not working. That's not working. That's still not working. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Close that. Green's working. You can see all the light, the green wires light up there. So then, oh, and now suddenly it works. Why did it work? And there was that sort of weird graphical glitch. There's nothing to do with why it started working. I have no idea why it suddenly started working, but there you are. Now you're seeing the gist of it there. It's actually starting to move. The breaker didn't actually break those wires. I think they died. But you notice how it stopped moving. I'm fairly certain that's what's happened here. Yeah, no. Okay, I can go backwards. Something to bear in mind is I've totally forgotten to put covers on the bottom of the machine. Now, a problem that's going to crop up time and time again over this episode now is the wheat actually sticking to the bottom of the machine. There's Gar saying hello, by the way, doing a bit of farming, quite helpfully getting rid of all the test wheat for me, which means that it actually takes me longer to realise that I've left the bottom uncovered. Now I'm putting in the wireless receivers for the breakers and the placers. Watch as I fantastically fail at naming my frequencies multiple times. Very interesting point as well is I really don't like using wireless receivers or wireless signals of any real description. I only do it when I can't, basically when I'm being lazy or when I can't think of any better way of doing it. Right now it's the latter. I really can't think of a better way of doing this. I would have liked to have one, but just because there's so many moving parts, I don't genuinely think there is a better way. Especially being able to have it self-contained is an important thing too. I colour-coded the jacketed wire there. I chose red and brown. Sorry, blue and brown. Watch me fail again. Brilliant. Farm deployer. Close. Right. So that's 120, 121. At this point, I think I'm telling Gar that I needed that wheat to actually test whether the machine was working. So I shouted at him, and he goes and gets some seeds and some bone meal so that he can make it grow again. Oh, there's my voltmeter. So now I'm thinking it's pretty much done. So I've got my computer there, which is going to get placed down. And this music sort of indicates that it's time to finish this episode. But not before I write some very basic code. I think the first thing I do, I don't know how to write code, but I definitely name the computer. Yeah, so the idea behind naming the computer or setting a label on the computer means that if the computer does get destroyed, it will retain all the programs on it. So thank you for watching. I've been Glitch, and this has been Let's Build.